Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm glad to say that I'm among the land of the living. I'm live and alive. So I'm going to do a couple of quick things here while I'm on. I want to, hey Charles, how are you doing? David, how you doing? I'm going to share this because I realize now that I hadn't been doing this correctly. So I need to properly share. So y'all bear with me for just a second. And I'm trying to get this to, nope, I want to discard. And let's do this. So this is quantum spirituality. And quantum, if you don't know, is basically observing something at its most finite level. And I really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of things because I'm really believing that if we don't take time to reverse engineer things, we don't understand them. And if we don't understand them, then we kind of go forward groping in the dark. And it's better to know than to suppose. So let me go ahead and get this together here. There we go. There we go. I'm gonna share that there. And I'm going to share it one more time. I really appreciate y'all's patience. But these are like technical things that, it's like housekeeping. You just need to make sure that they're all there. Yeah, okay, so there's that, and one more. Boom. And boom, why not? All right, so you guys are watching the Global Online Ministry Alliance, and you just got finished watching Dr. Catherine Toon, if you're watching on the Global Online Ministry Alliance, and she was talking about the God that serves man. And I tell you, like we're if you spend any time in church, you grew up hearing like what a mighty God we serve, or we serve an awesome God, and all of these things, and we need to really turn that paradigm on its ear, because the reality is, and it took me being a father, and not just being a father for the first time. Like there's a lot of wonder that's involved in being a father for the first time, but when you are a father for some period of time, you learn that it is not your children who serve you, but you who serve your children. And when I caught this, I looked at Papa, Source, Divine Mother, whatever you want to call God, that as a good parent, this God is serving us. And you can think about this like we think about like environment. Everything around us is provided for us. Food is provided for us. Air, water, all of these things are provided for us. And that is servitude. And then Jesus shows up and he says, for the Son of Man has come to serve and not to be served. So anyway, that's kind of, I just wanted to touch on what Catherine was talking about, because she is an awesome teacher, and I'll listen, if you guys don't watch anything else, You know, I mean, let me say this, because all of these folks on Goma are awesome. Lynn Bennett Jr. kicks us off on Sunday mornings, and he's followed by Kyle Butler, followed by Catherine Toon, and followed by yours truly. And then also I'm part of the 3 Chord Live group of teachers, and we start off Mondays with Bill Thrasher, and Tuesdays with Table Talk with Michelle and Tammy, and Wednesdays Dr. Catherine Toon is back in the saddle again. Then Thursdays we have Kyle Butler, and Fridays Phreology Friday with yours truly. And then in the Goma sphere, we also have Keith Giles, who does More Grounds, More Grace on Thursday, and we have Mike Zinker, who also floats between 3 Chord and Goma, and he does Grounds and Grace on Wednesday mornings. So you guys forgive me, my voice is still not completely up to snuff. If you don't know, I've been out with what I believe was the flu. And the reason why I say it's the flu is that I've never had a cold like this. You know, where I was doing great, then all of a sudden I was doing badly. I had a really bad episode for 2 weeks, and then I come out of that, and everything is good for like 3 days, and then all of a sudden, bam, I get hit with another week's worth. It's almost like getting out of prison and then being thrown back in. So that was that, and so we've done these introductions. You guys, please excuse my dog in the background. You know, people come to the front door and he just barks like crazy. But now it's at the point where my man, he sees people walking down the street. You know, he'll get in the front window of the house and he sees them walking down the street and he just goes berserk. So anyway, in case you're wondering, you're listening to Jean-Luc Ponty, one of my favorites, and this is the album Cosmic Messenger, and I believe this is from 1980 or 81. But I love Jean-Luc Ponty, and this is a short album, and this is going to be a short teaching, because today I want to talk about the most precious asset that you have. Now, before I do that, let me do this. Because this is Sunday morning. You could be in church, or you could be fishing, or on the boat, or playing football or soccer with the kids, or you know, whatever. You could be doing anything besides listening to me. So I want to make sure that those of you who do take time out to listen, that I give you a shout out. So let's take it from the top. Charles Schlegel, thank you for watching. David Ketterman, thank you for watching. I saw you guys early on when I was getting set up here. Shawana, thank you. It's so good to see you back. And Levi's forever in our hearts. We love you. We love him. And we love your kids. And, you know, and all I can say is that one day at a time. But love conquers everything. And it heals all wounds. Michelle Lindo, thank you for watching. Leslie Queso, thank you for watching. Michael Porter in the house, my man from North Carolina. This is a guy that he's an awesome teacher. He's one of my favorite people to listen to, and I'm really sad that he's not putting much stuff out lately. Yeah, I'm calling you out, bro. Kenya Simon, thank you for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Cynthia Burnside, my sister, part of my Agape Dominion family here locally. Thank you for watching. Henry Harris, one of my best friends and an awesome teacher. Henry's doing a new series called What's on Your Mind, and you need to check it out, where he has people who are interesting to him, you know, what's on your mind, and basically they talk it out. And it's a really, really great format. I think that you all will enjoy it. It comes on Thursday evenings, I believe at 7 p.m. Eastern Time or 7 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you tune into that. Paul Brown, Paulie B in the Heezy. My man, thanks for watching. Victoria McCorkle, thank you for watching, Victoria. Talila, my niece, I love you, honey. How are you? Tell your mom and everybody I said hi. Melvin Shentlin, another one of my friends from North Carolina in the house. David Anthony Wise, Thanks for watching. Jeanette Gonzalez from the Isle of Cyprus is watching. Yes, yes, yes. So that's our shout outs. I'm going to try to do this without killing my voice. Yes, I have a red cup on a Sunday morning. And if you could see in the cup, there's nothing but water in here. So I just want you guys to know that even though it's 5:30 p.m. somewhere, right now it's not quite Scotch 30. So anyway, we've done the shout outs and all of that, and I want to go ahead and get started. But I want to talk about the most priceless, valuable asset that any human being has is time. Time. What is time? Time, time, we think of time in terms of history. We think of time in terms of eons past, and we think of time as the faraway future. We think of time as how we measure our days when we start off our day, and how we measure how long we are in the day, and we measure time from Monday through Friday, and we say thank God it's Friday because we've survived the rest of the week, and all of these things. Time is so essential. But here's the thing, that for God, for Source, there is no time. Time doesn't exist. Time is not a construct for creation, because creation exists, or the Creator exists outside of time. Because if time is a thing, it is a created thing. And if it's a created thing, then that means it's created by a Creator, and that Creator must be outside of his or her creation. But I think about time in terms of, I think of time in terms of creation. What can I create with the time that I have? And understand, not everybody has a creative urge. However, we do have things that we want to accomplish. And there are some things that are innately wired into us that say that these are the things that I must do, because if I don't do these things, well, then I'm just essentially dead. Okay? So time is the framework by which we measure our accomplishments. That's a good working definition, I think. And what we do with time says a lot about us. And if you're listening to this, you're probably thinking that maybe I might be dragging this along to waste your time. But if you trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. And that's that one of the things that I learned was in college, and it was what they call the time value of money. And that's interest, right? And interest accrues on a principal given, or principal rendered. And so over time, this principle begins to grow in value because of the interest, the time value of money attached to it. And so you take out a loan for, say, $5,000, and you pay this loan back at, like, say, 10% interest, and that interest is compounded annually, which means that you're going to compound $500 of interest, or you're going to compound 10% on the principal for every year that the loan is out. Okay, so in the first year it's $500, and then it decreases accordingly. And as you pay that back, you're returning that principal with interest. In other words, you're giving someone something extra in return for the use of the original capital. Does that make sense? Okay, so with that being said, the money itself is not the valuable commodity here. The valuable commodity is the time. Because the time is, for example, if I have this $5,000, I can do, you know, and this is why people discount things, because say $3,000 right now in your pocket is worth more than $5,000 down the road. Because again, the time value of money. Money is worth more right now than it is down the road. But if you're going to wait for your money to come down the road, then you would expect some rate of return on your investment. But the most valuable thing is time. Because here's the thing, whether money or collateral or any other capital that is pledged for a loan, it can be returned. I see Thaddeus Warren is on, and I'm going to pick on Thaddeus because Thaddeus is a big guy like I am. And he's also a bearded guy like I am. In fact, it's funny that, you know, Thaddeus is a white guy from Indiana, and I'm a black dude from Detroit. But it's like when you look at us in pictures, they say, man, you guys look like brothers. And actually, actually we do. But Thaddeus is also about my size, you know, he's a big guy. So if I say, Thaddeus, let me borrow one of those cool flannel shirts that you wear. Well, Thaddeus can lend me his cool flannel shirt. And after some agreed period of time, I can wash it and return it to him. Or I can give it back funky, which would make me a kind of janky person. But hey, I can give that back. If I let me pick on somebody else in the audience here. I'm going to pick on someone else. Marshall Stooks, my friend and brother. Almost 30 years we've been quantumly entangled. But say Marshall, lend me $1,000. And Marshall can lend me $1,000. I can pay it back. You know, and because me and Marshall are tight like that, he's not going to charge me interest. But you know, he can give it back. Or John Knight. John Knight is on here, and I can say, John, could I borrow one of your Stratocasters? And John would tell me, hell no. But if you were to lend it to me, I can return it. Here's the thing. Things can be borrowed and returned. But 1 second, 1 millisecond, 1 microsecond, once it's gone, it's gone. You cannot repay anyone for the time that they've invested in you. You can't repay anyone time, period. You know, and it's funny how we in our day-to-day work, we exchange time for money. Now I'm going to say something here that's very challenging. That when you get smart about money, you cease to exchange time for money. You begin to see money as something that works for you. And then what the money does when you have money working for you is that money buys you better control of your time. See, this requires a paradigm shift, and honestly, guys, gals, we really need to get to this, because this is why the development of intellectual property is so important. When you write a book, when you sing a song, when you write a screenplay, act in a movie, or whatever, you know, that you do something that creates residual income. In other words, this passive income that you do something once and it begins to produce for you in perpetuity. And once you do this, what happens is that you have more control over your time. I had a statistics professor in college who was independently wealthy. And he said he taught statistics because he liked to teach statistics, because he liked the whole process of watching people learn. And he loved the science of statistics. But, you know, he asked me one time, he said, hey, you know, let's get together and have coffee one day, because we became friends. And I said, well, what time would you like to get together? He says, I don't know. He said, when do you get started? And I said, well, you know, I'm usually up and about by about 6 in the morning every day. And he said, wow, he said, that's too early for me. And I said, well, when do you get started? He said, when I get tired of sleeping. That was one of the most profound things that I had ever heard. When do you get up? I don't know, when you get tired of sleeping. When you get tired of being tired and decide to be alert and awake. See, that's what time buys you. And so I'm not trying to get into anything about money management or anything like that. If you want to get into more of that, Kyle Butler is going to be teaching on that when he returns back to his vaunted seat outside the grace line and begins to teach individually. I'm picking on Kyle now. But this 1 second, if you give me 1 second of your time, I can't give it back to you. All I can do is render you some value, something substantial, in exchange for the 1 second that you gave. Now, if I don't do that, then I have effectively wasted your time, because you've given me this moment and I can't return it. Can't give it back. So one of the things that we need to stop looking at time as a measuring stick and look at time as a commodity. You know, because we only have in this realm the time that we have. And we need to maximize every moment. Now, I'm going to tell you, me personally, I suffer from procrastination. You know, I'll say, well, I'll do that later. And this is a really bad thing that I deal with. But what I found is that I'm more effective when whatever it is that I need to do, that is, go ahead and knock it out. Because what I find is that in the time between the time that I say I will do it and the time that I actually do it, that more things compound that need to be done in that space. So what happens is that now an interest accrues on my time. And there's a greater cost that I have to pay because of the time that I put something off. See, because time doesn't stand still, and the things that need to be done, they also don't stand still. They need to be done, and when they don't get done, they become more expensive to do later. So, if you think about it, a more economical use of your time is to use the time that you have right now. Right now. Because this is the thing, the only amount of time that you actually lay claim to is this moment, right now. Yesterday, the moment that passed 5 seconds ago is gone. 1 second ago is gone. 10 seconds ago is gone. It's gone. That's a sunk cost, or that's expended capital, whatever you want to call it. But it's past. It's gone. It's left you. It's behind, and the future is not promised. You know, I know that some of you, because of the things that I teach, y'all might believe that I'm prone to be struck down by lightning at any given moment. And so therefore the future is not guaranteed either. Because, you know, listen, all kinds of things happen, and bad things happen to good people. You know, people have accidents, people get sick, people, all crazy manner of things happen. And so you don't know what's going to happen next. So all you have is right now. So this is what my challenge, my call to action is for you today, is that if every single one of us is the captain of our own ship and the director of our own destiny, every one of us, we control our lives. It is not in the hands of God. It is not God's plan. It isn't. It's your plan. And you know, and if you get to see Papa or Source face to face, you really can't say, well, why didn't you allow me to do, or why didn't you give me this, or why? Because he's going to say, or she's going to say, son, daughter, I gave you everything. I gave you all the resources that you need and all the time that you require. So the question is, what do you do with it? Because the direction of your destiny is determined by how you steer the helm of your right now. How you are steering your life right now is going to dictate where you're going, where the next second will chart you. And in that moment, you will decide what is important. You will decide what is necessary. You will decide what is wise, what is prudent, and what is pleasurable. Because this whole adventure is all about having fun. I'm going to tell you something. I have a theory about life. And I can't lay credit to this on my own, because this comes from the wisdom of my wife. And it's this, that this life is like an amusement park, or an amusement park, let's say an amusement park ride. You come in, you're in line in eternity, and you get on the ride and you ride the ride, and then the ride is over. And if you're, really excited by the ride, you'll be like, ooh, mommy, daddy, can I ride again? Can I ride again? Or you get off the ride and you'll say, yeah, that really wasn't for me. I don't need to ride that one again. And if you ride the ride again, that's like reincarnation. Kaboom. How often can you ride the ride? I don't know. How much time does Papa or Mama have? How much time do they have to watch you ride the ride again? And since Source operates outside of time, you could ride the ride an infinite number of times. Now, I know that that doesn't sit well with a lot of the theological stuff that people have been taught, but that's what I believe. I believe that this is a really grand roller coaster. And if you go through the roller coaster with your eyes shut, you miss out on everything. But if you sit in the front car, eyes wide open, hands in the air, and you say, yes, and enjoy the ride, it will be more experiential and far more pleasurable. So what we have to find out is, what do we have to do to be able to ride the ride that way? And that is simply to understand right now, understand that this is it. This moment is all you have. And when you understand that, you begin to take it all in. And more importantly, when you understand the value of time, like the time value of money, you'll understand the time value of people. And you'll say, I don't want to waste your time. And I don't want you to waste my time. So every moment that we're together, let us uplift, encourage, edify. Let us build one another up. Let us embrace one another. Let us challenge each other. Let us exhort one another. But above all, let's love one another. Because love is the overarching principle of all things. And time is just a simple way of how to express our love. So that's what I have. I'm going to go through and give some shout outs, and then I will say goodbye. But Devin, Kate, Devin, I'm going to tell you, it's so good to see you here. Devin coached my oldest son, Donovan, in baseball. And I tell you, it broke my heart that Donovan didn't continue to play. But Devin, you would have been really proud of how he turned out. He's he's a fine young man aside from baseball, but he turned out to be a fantastic ball player, and you would be really, really proud of him. Pastor Mark Leonard, thank you for joining, Pastor. Good to see you. Glenn Hartline, my man. Glenn is another awesome teacher of the gospel. You guys need to tune into his program. I forget what nights he's on. I want to say he's on Tuesdays or Wednesday nights. But you need to check him out, Glenn Hartline. Remember that name. Linda Matthias, my big sister, thank you for joining. So good to see you out here. Hope you are feeling awesome. Cynthia Melton, my sister from North Carolina. It's good to see you. Daniel Anderson, thank you for watching. Flora Samuel. Flora, namaste, sister. You are one of my heroes. No jokes. Let's see, who else is it? Derek Robinson, thank you for joining. Thaddeus, I already gave you a shout out, but here's a double down on you. Marshall, I already said hey to you, doubling down on you. John Knight, I mentioned you, but I'm doubling down on you, brother. Elizabeth Skurlock, my cousin from Sacramento, thank you for joining. And I think that concludes all of the shout outs. I really appreciate y'all joining this morning, and I hope that there was something said that will help you. Also, want to, couple of things. be sure to check out the Love Forward podcast. We got some new episodes coming out this week. Some awesome stuff, and that will be going more regular. Check out my website, www.derekday.com. There's going to be more stuff coming out there. And then, thanks to my man Keith Giles, who is also in the audience. Keith, thank you for everything. Keith, thanks to him, I'm a columnist on Patheos.com now. And so you will see my column. I'm going to try to get these out there on, say, Monday and Wednesday. That's what I'm going to shoot for, at least on those 2 days. And maybe if I'm feeling good, a bonus one on Friday. But thanks to Keith, I'm in the Patheos family, and I'm linked up with some really phenomenal thinkers, and I'm really blessed and excited to be there. Also, check out the Love. Never mind. I said the Love Forward podcast. Senior moment. And let's see, the website, the podcast. Shout out to my wife's podcast, The Kush Queen. Anything that you need to know about marijuana for medicinal purposes or therapeutic purposes, she has the 411. So you don't want to miss that. And I think that's pretty much it. So until the next time, namaste, peace and blessings, and God with you, God in you. Stay blessed.